welcome to our podcast. As usual, you've got Jonathan and you've got Marie.
Hello.
Nearly forgot your name then as well. And also we've got our special guest tonight. We've also got Chris and Adam from Haunted Scouse.
Hello.
So, and it's been a while since we last interviewed you.
It's literally 12 months.
Almost to the day.
Yeah. And since then you've gone from here to here, haven't you? You've just gone up and up and up since then. And, you know, you've
grown that much.
Yeah.
No, not down.
Not in height.
No, it has. It's been an interesting 12 months. Yeah, definitely has. Yeah.
I mean, we've been watching your shows and they're brilliant, you know. Whoever the editor is, Chris.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well done you then.
We watched it go from there to better and better and better. You know, you've just killed it, really, haven't it? Yeah.
Do you know what? It's priding ourselves on, and you guys know because you've been to our events and you've met some of our fan base, and it's they deserve the best that we can give them, because literally the loyalty from them as they've said, they'll follow us anywhere we go, and that loyalty deserves extra few hours sat in the man cave just trying to create something better and better each time. And even if it's locations, it's like, you know, even filming B-roll, we've got 2 decent cameras now, and one goes off one direction, one goes off the other.
I think probably because of the locations, it's allowed us to sort of experiment a little bit and think, well, how can we maybe film this, and what angle can we get that? So we're thinking a lot more, whereas we were outside just pointing and shooting at each other. It's now trying to bring and show off sort of like, you know, when we're here looking at, you know, every single room, every aspect, and selling where we are as well and delivering that history at the same time. So
brilliant.
Yeah.
So you learn as you go along, isn't it?
Exactly.
That's
you
what's
know,
been
we're
happening,
not,
hasn't it?
we're definitely won't class ourselves as professionals or anything in any way.
No.
You know, and that's the great thing about this. We learn something new each location, each time.
Ironically, we wouldn't, although recently Take a Break magazine did contact me as an expert. And,
should have let them know that I was also called as an expert as well. That was last
that.
year.
Yeah,
the little slice down.
Oh! So anyway, Adam, it's a good job we can edit this and cook this out.
It's because this expert wasn't available. We had to deal with this expert.
Well done.
How much page did you get, Chris? Come on, tell us.
2-page spread, mate.
Brilliant.
2 page?
Yeah.
The back.
No, can prove it.
Oh, I've seen it, Chris. I've seen it, you're holding it up on
it was, I mean, to be
on
honest,
your live.
it was nice. It came out the blue, and literally, you know, Julie, the journalist for it, off the back of the original one about Adam's experiences, which was brilliant to read out on our own little podcast thing we do every now and then. It was nice of them to get in touch and say, we want expert opinion, and you know us guys, we don't take ourselves seriously, so you know, that's why I liken myself to Daddy Pig. You know, having grandkids and kids who grew up with Peppa Pig. Daddy Pig was, I'm an expert. And I literally joked about it, saying that. But it was nice and having a conversation with someone who had an idea for the story and Take a Break, but literally I took it in a different direction, and Julie was kind enough to say at the end of the phone call, this has gone in a direction I didn't see going, because I had one idea of what I wanted to ask you about modern technology and picking up the paranormal, and I took her on a different journey of things she didn't even think of, because you guys know yourselves, it's if you capture something on the audio on this, we've got a K2 in front of us
we've got
off.
K2 going off.
You know, and people will say, oh, that's picking up the light, or that's picking up the recorder.
We did do our test beforehand.
But we tested everything on it.
Yeah.
You know, so we've moved everything away that might be interfering with that, and that's what the article was about. How does this technology? How do you get in touch with a 100-year-old spirit with that technology?
Yeah. It's mind-boggling.
Maybe you're going to get in touch with a 20-day-old spirit.
Yes.
Not every, and as I said, not every spirit is a top hat and tails, or a white dress, grey dress, black dress. You know, maybe it is somebody in jeans and a t-shirt.
Of course.
And they recognise something, can go, okay. Or maybe it's give spirit the benefit of intelligence.
Yeah,
as well.
Definitely.
Yeah. Learning how to use things.
If you remember when we was at
Grosvenor.
No, we was in a pub, in the pub that we was in, and you had Jamie in the blindfold.
Oh, Penryn
Penryn
Hall.
Hall.
Yeah.
Right, so if you remember there from Penryn Hall, and that was an intelligent source, because he was actually, when they was doing it, it was coming out with the same, with words, and you could tell that person, that spirit, was getting aggressive, couldn't you? So they have got, you know, they have got the intelligence, of course.
Well, it's been set down here by a couple of mediums now that it's a thoroughfare for spirits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a couple of them have said that now.
Right.
So you're not just getting the same ones all the time.
Yeah.
It's different spirits all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And who's to say? You know, as we've just said to Dave, who we've just been talking to before, about Mill Street Barracks itself. There's a lot that want to play on. There's a dark entity, and yet this is maybe our 5th time that we visited here. Not once have we come across the feeling at all of a dark entity. No. It's curiosity in Mill Street Barracks. It's friendly curiosity.
Yeah, we agree with that.
We agree, because I don't know whether you watched the last show of this. We were talking about the Angry Man.
Yeah, everyone talks.
Has that one gone out yet, the Angry Man? Yeah.
I think
it must have, because this one's coming out now. Yeah, there's a painting.
Yeah,
it's called the Angry Man.
It goes on about the dog and the Angry Man and this and that. The Angry Man.
Just a painting.
It's started from a painting.
Exactly. Well, that's what I mean, and everybody can make up stories. That's the thing. You've got to have. Brilliant thing with you having you guys here. When you come to Mill Street Barracks, and obviously, guys, we cannot recommend it enough. By the way, we'll say that while we're on here, you'll get in touch with the guys and book yourselves in, because your knowledge of here is what you need, so that you can then feed that back to whoever your guests are and say, you know, these are the facts about Mill Street Barracks, not some of the stuff you see online where it's made up.
But you were saying that, you know, there is things passing through all the time. So we're not saying that other paranormal groups haven't, you know, seen something or aggressive or something like that. That's what their experience is. But personally, our experience haven't been like that. Yours so far as well hasn't been like that. But, you know, there are other groups that's
some
seen
groups
that.
do work like that, don't they?
Yeah. And I think it's what they build up as well. Because they build...
say aggressive, but...
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think a lot of teams seem to think all locations have to have that dark room where like a murder happened or something like sinister happened, where actually, you know, it could just be a lovely, pleasant family home, and you know, not saying that didn't happen, but we don't get that feeling. We just get a feeling of a lot of activity because of purely what the building is. There's a lot of different people, but you know.
We've come in here a few times, and you know yourselves and Jonathan, we are always here. And we've come in and we've got, don't think we should go down in the cellar tonight.
Yeah, we have.
But it's not the anger. I think it's just, do you know what? There's been hundreds of people coming in and out. Just give us a break, give us a rest.
Yeah.
So, and you've done that when you go to people's houses as well. If you go to people's houses, you know that you're either welcome there, or you shouldn't really be there that long. Or they've had a big massive row and the atmosphere's changed, so you can tell her.
I close the curtains when Chris comes, so he definitely knows he's not wanted.
So I know when we had one of the other groups in as well, because we had that when we was in the firing range, and we had that dark cloaked person behind. Was
that
you
woman?
No, the fella?
No, the woman who was there who got scared.
Oh no, in the firing range, so we was all sat there.
So
And a lot of people had their backs to it, and everybody could see this huge dark figure. And I thought, as soon as that light goes on, I'm going to check that. You know, as you do, you want to see what's there, what's everything. And it was so huge, it was going up onto the ceiling. But there was the group that was in were actually trying to bring things in, so if people can get aggressive and they can start saying, F this, F that, come and show yourselves, you know. And I think it's how you approach them, but you've got to be respectful, haven't you?
I remember we had one individual here, it was a while back, wasn't it? And he was so aggressive in this room, and we were recording it for the show, and he was swearing, he was aggressive. I won't repeat what he was calling them.
We didn't use the
we couldn't use it, and we said to the group at the time, we can't use this because he was so angry and so aggressive.
Yeah.
The person who's doing the ghost hunt.
And K2's
We
going up
just
on the
couldn't do it,
table
yeah.
as well.
That's what we say. I mean, first and foremost, you know, if you come to me in the street and want to have a conversation, you know, if you start effing and blind at me, I'm not going to want to talk to you, you know.
Mhm.
So
That's it.
why would a spirit want to interact with that? So
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly.
Whereas if you're nice to them and say, look, you know, we'll leave with respect, blah
Yeah.
blah blah. They're going, these are all right. These
Well,
people.
it's a case of introducing yourselves, and it's like, you know, I mean, obviously we're back here in a few weeks' time, you know, to have our first official Halloween event here,
Mhm.
and you guys know, because you've taken part in one of our events. The first thing we do is sit everyone in a circle, and we do that so that we use the S box to walk around everybody, and we're introducing the spirits
Mhm.
to who
To the
is
people.
here.
Yeah.
And we're
course.
asking the spirits if there's anybody who's here, you know, say a name as I walk past that person. And that's that way of saying, and it happens every time, every location, as we say to people, be kind, be polite, open yourselves up to it, and I guarantee by the time we go from hour 1 to hour 5, at least half of you will have had your name come through a piece of
Yeah.
equipment, will have
Mhm.
experienced something, and it's not because it's because you've opened yourself up, but the spirits have also been invited to join in,
Yeah.
and that's better than turning around and saying, come on, where are you then?
Of course.
You know,
Yeah.
and the only
That's
time
right.
we've ever done that is Bidston Hill, and that was because you've got the notorious spirit of Richard Tilley, a Satanist, and he was a convicted murderer as well, and he is said to haunt Bidston Hill. So we went into that, and it's the only time we've actually gone, come on then, where are you?
Yeah.
Let's have you.
Yeah.
Come on, too many here. And both of us experienced like a sharp pain in our back after mentioning his name.
it's a long walk up the hill.
It is
Really.
like, but exactly, and that's what you know, it's either coincidental or you're on the top of Bidston Hill and maybe your body's starting to feel it anyway. But it's coincided with calling out Richard Tilley. But at the same time, you know, most male spirits hang back if there's other males around.
Yeah.
Groves the ballroom, you know, in the cells.
Yeah.
You send, you know, as we had a brave bunch of females, and they all went down, like 7 or 8 of them.
And then
We
it
had
was
a
us too.
We had a lock-off camera, and they all went down on their own. They all made that choice that night. It was like, we're walking around, where is everyone? And all the women had disappeared, but all the women went down in one large group into the cells. About 4 or 5 of them experienced things. And I was the first male to walk down, because literally I couldn't find anyone. He was off doing something in the mirror room.
Do his hair.
Well, what better place? You've been there, haven't you?
But the minute I walked down to the cells, it seemed to, they said, no, it's different. Within 60 seconds, this spirit had stepped back. And it was like, when you step back, because there's a male here, and it was cowardice on the side of the spirit. But because we had a lock-off camera, we could see that there was stuff going on, there was experiences being had. Like this, you know, yeah, I'm bolshy, I'm going to walk through the middle of all these women. But if there's a male spirit, if there's a male presence, then it's like, oh, right, okay, actually, I'm going to hang back.
Yeah, to see what it, but you, if you remember, when he went down into the cellar on her own.
Yeah.
Well, I was brave as well, because I did go to the end.
You were, and to be fair, you know, our viewers have seen that last night. You know,
Shuffly walk.
Do you mean you've got the? Because I haven't seen it yet, because we were doing a ghost night.
No, it's on. You know, it's on. You
I'll
guys
have a
can
look
catch
at
up
that.
on that. It was
Is it-
very well
is it
received,
like-
by the way.
Was
Honestly.
it like the shame on Jamie?
No, honestly,
Yeah.
listen, really, you know, I would say, you know, and anyone watching this, if you go over to our channel and watch it, if you can watch it with the comments on, and re-watch with the comments from the live chat, really nice comments, and everyone loves you guys.
And-
He's
and
so
that's
brave.
well.
This is his first ghost hunt, so for the first time, like,
Did somebody actually put that? Yeah.
But no, honestly, I mean, our fan base absolutely love you guys. Honestly, it's like whenever they were made up to see that you guys were on it again, because those that have met you, you just know, you know, you're genuine people, and that's why we get on so well. It's that thing, we're in it for the same reasons.
Yeah.
You want to grab a bit of history, and if you can have something scary happen at the same time, brilliant.
Recently, you've actually been on TV.
Well,
So,
I mean, that's me.
Tell us a bit.
Where you
Did you
recognise
notice,
us
Chris?
from? Yeah.
Chris,
Yeah.
did you notice then, as I mentioned to you, he's been quiet for the whole thing, and he goes,
Did
well,
you see the way he sat
Jamie,
up straight then and went, right, there we go.
Here we go. Come on, come and tell us about it.
Teletubbies.
Wasn't Teletubbies, was it?
Oh,
That wasn't Bits to Nil, was it? It was Teletubby Hill.
I said to him the other night it was Crime Watch.
I just thought this might be the opportunity where I could get a word in.
Yeah, go for
yeah, go for it,
one minute or
Adam.
So, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
so the pause it.
to be honest, we sent off some bits and bobs that we'd filmed over the year to the paranormal unexplained caught on camera, and yeah, they said, yeah, we'd love to get you an interview. So this was in February, and we went back to Peter Cavanagh's, where we had the music box move, and we had the REM pod that I bought go off for the first time as well. So we did a bit of filming there, a few interviews, and then they also liked the Walton Hall episodes that we did over Halloween, and we'd been there 2 or 3 times. So did a little bit of filming, went back eventually to Walton Hall and did a few little bits of B-roll there as well. And yeah, just in the back of your mind, you're thinking, oh, I wonder how this is going to sort of come together and how they're going to splice in what we've got, what the experts, the Jane Harrises, the Barry Guys of the world, and Kieran O'Keefe are going to sort of go, well, oh, that's a load of nonsense, that. So literally on tender hooks, haven't we, for about 6 months, and keeping that quiet. But yeah, episode 2 it was Peter Cavanagh's that went out, and it was how it was put together, absolutely brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then the same as well for episode 5, which was Walton Hall again, absolutely rave reviews, great comments.
Was that the door?
Yeah, that was the door, amongst some other things that happened there, but mainly it was that third, I keep saying the 3rd floor, it was the 2nd floor, and Walton Hall, and the door was closing, and just in the nuns bit as well, the nuns quarters, it's great looking back, because we filmed that like well over a year ago, and even seeing how they sort of picked little different bits of the footage and put it together, and it's just, you know, we come off quite well, to be honest, and quite, you know, brave and knowledgeable, which is just, it's probably a first for Haunted Scouse, to be honest.
Shows what you can do with a bit of cutting.
Well, to be fair, as Adam just said that, because it's because I mean, obviously, as you guys know, we work full time as well, so trying to fit this all in with wives and kids and everything, and it was only I just happened to be off last Friday, so I got a chance to sit down and watch the Walton Hall one, relaxing, put my daughter Grace on the bus to go to school, and then sat down with Suzanne, got a cuppa and watched it, and I could relax and watch it, and then straight after watched the first one again, because I'd only watched it once, and as me and Adam had been chatting the night before, and as Adam said, it's like after you've watched it like 2 or 3 times, you enjoy it more, because you're sitting back as a viewer. You're too busy watching it to, not in a vanity way, but you're kind of still going, oh, how's that going to come across? And as Adam said, you're waiting for the music box to be acoustic vibrations, and you're panicking getting to the end. And when it got to Kieran O'Keefe, as everyone knows from Most Haunted, you're waiting for the scientific reason to come through, acoustic vibrations, wet table, this, that and the other. And literally, the second he came on, and if Kieran ever sees this, I apologise, there was apprehension. You know your footage is genuine, and you guys know us, you've been there around us, and things have happened. And then when he turned around, he said, I actually know Peter Cavanagh's very well. I've investigated there in the mid-90s, and I've spent many an evening in that snug. So I know there's no way there's another person in there to manipulate that music box moving. So that, to me, is some of the best footage I've ever seen. And I kind of just, I'm like that in the air.
Yeah, brilliant.
And then Jane Harris was just as kind about it, you know, in the footage. And it's, I think Debbie, her name is, there's a medium that is like the 4th expert, and she was really kind about it. And then Walton Hall was the same. You know, we were praised on the multi-camera aspect.
It just sort of thinks, as you know, as two lads who do this kind of, you know, as a bit of a hobby, you know, for it to go out there to, you know, sort of experts in their field to kind of go, actually, you know, how we were praised by, it was Kieran O'Keefe, wasn't it? You said about the multi-angles, the different cameras, so you can kind of see, well, it can't be one of them because one of them's filming the other, and the other one's filming that, and then you've got a lock off down there. So as how you're going about and what you're doing is really good.
Leaving the footage in Adams with the door, trying to, you know, well, it does, if you get to there, it stops. And then it showed me, as we call it, my Tigger impression, jumping up and down, trying to bounce in front of the door to show that even, you know, I'll be kind to myself. 17 stone of Chris landing on the floor right next to it.
You can see this now because it's not just a podcast thing.
So we've got to
make that out for
The
yourself.
door still didn't move, and as Adam just said, it was nice, to have someone like Kieran O'Keefe who's going to be looking for a reason to say that's why that happened. To go, what I like about this footage is Adam and Chris are trying their best to recreate it, and they've not been able to. So therefore, it puts more credibility to what we're seeing as viewers.
It's the golden stamp, isn't it?
Well, that's it. And the multi-cameras, it's a pain to edit. But what you come out with at the end is one camera that's showing where both of you are, a camera each that you're pointing at each other, and 3 angles of the same footage, and being able to turn around and say, so clearly there's nobody else in the room. Like you've got here, you're covering the different angles. So that you're getting, one might show something. If someone walks across there, that camera's not going to get it. If someone walks across here, that camera might not get it.
Well, we did it.
Just for the listeners, we have got cat balls and everything around the place as well. So we have been getting the K2 going across. So
I'm saying we did it on our last show. We just done a podcast out there.
Yes,
because we're in the middle cellar, the middle room in the main cellar. And we were just talking, and the cat ball went off behind us just as we started recording. And then when it happened near the end of the show, we decided to get Jonathan to get his camera out, and we managed to get that recording and put it in the top corner.
Watching it because again watching it and the strip on the front of the desk.
You could see it.
When we actually done it, you see. We never seen that until.
That's it. You guys are not going to know that. But the front strip on the front of the table,
so we didn't know that.
And the angle of looking at yourselves, the camera could see that the cat ball's down here. But you can see the blue and the red flashes.
And that was good,
Exactly. So the viewer can go, I can see it. Because there's nothing worse, is there? Let's face it.
Because it was right under the camera, and obviously you couldn't see it.
You've got to take your word. We had it with the tunnels, didn't we? Just went to before we press record. The camera's just sitting off looking that way, and cat ball goes off that way. By the time we got to the camera, it spun it around. It went
Well, like you said earlier on, both of you learn as you're going along, and it's not one of them. You can do it overnight. It's watching other people. You go on YouTube, and we're watching all the other people doing it as well. I like that idea. I like that idea.
Well, exactly.
So we'll get to you soon as well and have a look and see what.
It comes back to a conversation we had before we started about Dark Territory. And both big fans of the guys there.
That's going up
brilliant
again.
to see them, but even do whichever spirit. But it's watching how they've done it. Using a normal camera and a night vision in the same scene. It's like we've done that now because we've seen it on their show. So
it's little tips.
It is, isn't it? It's not being too proud to go, that was good, that. We're going to try that.
Well, we had my son in, didn't we? And we said, do you want to come with us? You've not met my son yet. And he said, yeah, I'll come, because he was interested, wasn't he? And we gave him my phone, because, and he said, just start recording with Daddy. And he started with yours, and he said, can you do the phone for a bit? And we just let him go off on his own. And some of the footage he's come up with, why didn't we think of that? Because he went to university, I went to grammar. That was the difference.
Well, it's because you're old as well, you see, and you're getting used to the technology.
Of course,
Yours was one of them old,
Oh, you're talking, sorry,
on the side of the camera.
That's
sorry, I thought you were talking to Jonathan then.
I've seen it on some of these old ancient programmes. Box Brownie, that's what you had.
With the little carousel horse used to go around on it.
That's the one.
So, thanks for coming in tonight. So Chris, thanks for is it they're picking on me now?
You picked on them enough, Jamie. You've got to take it.
That's not the point. But so I mean, you've been here a couple of times now, haven't you? And it's a really strange place, Street Barracks. But we went to the Groves in the I can never say that, Why can't you just pick an easy one? So we went to the Groves with you, and that was a creepy kind of place. I'd done it years ago.
I remember doing it years ago.
You built it, but
didn't you get? Oh, God, sorry.
We've done it with yous, and it was like we knew the place because we remembered things but when we went down into the police cells at the bottom, that was kind of creepy there.
It's a strange location. I've been about 5 or 6 times now, and one of the first event locations I went on with a completely different group was the Grosvenor, and when I first went, it was sort of how you've seen it there, and there wasn't too much going down. But it had a bit of a creep factor to it, and then about 5 or 6 months later I went back and they refurbed it all, and it was all beautiful offices, and it was so it was I don't know, it maybe took a little bit of that creep factor away, but it was still had a bit of an energy to it. And then obviously when we went back,
into the yellow there.
when we went back,
Put it on its side so the camera. Sorry,
no, it's all right, don't worry. When we went back for the first time, and we saw, well, unfortunately for them, there'd been water damage there. So it was obviously, they were currently trying to process renovating it and sorting that. But for us as investigators, like, wow, look at this now. This is going to really, like, you know, sort of sell the place. It's probably going to even further add to it. And you know yourselves being down there, it is one of the stranger parts of that building.
But when the lights go out, all that modern stuff disappears because you go into total darkness.
Well, that was the good thing, having that episode on last night, and it's one of those things where unless you're in somewhere, even down here now, unless you're somewhere and then you go, right, we're ready, yeah, everyone sat down, and then when we've got, right, we're going to switch the lights off now, and you go, switch the lights off, and you wait for the, oh bloody hell, oh my God, and dark is dark, and down there is one of them, when you go to the back of some of them rooms, so that's why it's really interesting watching it back, and having people in the chat who've been there now, and we've one of the things we're more proud of is we've allowed people to take part in the paranormal investigation, be on episodes, see how the equipment works. So it's not just about, you know, oh, we've got a K2, we've got cat balls, we've got night vision cameras for you to have a go of. You're going to be part of an episode. So when you're trying to explain to people dark is dark, we don't have to now cover the illuminators and go, just to show you what we can see, guys, switch the illuminators off and go with that. People watching now have been with us and they've gone, you know, they're in the chat saying,
it's
when you switch the lights off
Yeah.
and you can't see your hand in front of your face and you're somewhere like down here or the cells at the Groves.
Because it's difficult to explain, isn't it? You know, when you turn lights off and you say to people, it's getting dark, and people go, well, how can it get any darker than what it is? It does get darker. It's very difficult to explain.
Even
that.
in the dark, it gets darker.
It's one of those places where I think for the first time we sort of we had a stone thrown and you can audibly hear things sort of around you or above you or coming at you, and that was that. I mean, when it happened, it was brilliant, wasn't it? But you know, at the time, it was like, oh my gosh, you know, I can't actually believe I just heard that. But it was clear as day. You were actually on an Instagram live.
I was
when
doing
it
Instagram live,
so even better.
Even the comments were saying, I was like, hang on, what was that? Because I was just about to walk back out, and literally it was all lit up. People down there, but obviously I needed the light for the Instagram, and being able to recreate, turn around, and there's this little bit of plaster. I'm just hang on, guys, I'll just do this. Exactly the same sound, and obviously when you do a live, there's that little delay on the comments, and the comments had just started to get to the point, oh my God, what was that? Then I heard that, and then being able to recreate it, it was like, I remember taking it upstairs, and you guys have met my wife Suzanne, because she's got the gift. Took her upstairs and explained to her. In fact, no, she was sat there and I picked it up because she was down in the cells, and she said, you can throw that away if you think that's coming home with us. You got another thing. Like, you know, if the spirit has touched that, you can leave it there. You know, it's like, so just put it on the table on the side, and then there you go.
Well, that's me, isn't it? Whenever we go, I say, well, just take a little piece to home and we'll have that, you know. And you think, then we had somebody who turned around and says, we've took loads of stuff home, we've had to get rid of it again because there's been attachments.
Of course.
Yeah, exactly.
If they're throwing it at you, they're not attached to it, they don't want it.
Well, exactly.
Simple as that. So Suzanne, that was a bit mean.
You can't even blame him, he was in a completely different part of the Groves now.
I'd have got you, to be honest. So,
He'd have thrown a brick.
Well, do you know the thing is, my first instinct would be, you've got guests here who you don't know them all, and you don't know if you can trust them all. But again, we say to everybody at the beginning of the night, we've got cameras set up, because whether we're filming it for an episode or not, we will set cameras up, and if something happens, if we spot any footage and we think we can say to somebody, sorry, you're on camera cheating, you won't get back to one of our events, because we want people to have a genuine experience. So I was made up that I had a camera in the other room at the far end where we all started out on the episode last night, and that camera clearly covers everybody. So the only other person down there was my wife, who's in front of me, and Instagram viewers had just seen her and know that she sat away in the middle room. So my first instinct was, let's watch the footage back. did someone throw it, and if they did, they're getting a phone call off me or a text message or something saying, come on. And I would have put the footage out and said, unfortunately, you know, I would have named and shamed, because we're not going to be the team that glorifies cheating.
Yes.
No, I get that.
Exactly.
So when I watched that footage back, and there was 5 people in that end room, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and at the point you can hear me react to it, nobody moves. The person nearest, Lewis, I think it was, has his hands in his pockets, and he's taking part in something else. We had stuff set up on the table, and that was the thing for me. I went, brilliant, that's what I needed to see. So that was a paranormal incident live on the internet, but it just shows, you know, they weren't shy. It was almost as if you could get out. You know?
That's
So it's good when that happens, isn't it?
Yeah, so to be able to back it up and say, here's the footage of the other camera guys, and funny enough, my mum's on the footage, and someone turns around and it's like, because they're so engrossed on what's going on, and someone turns around and says, what's just happened there? And someone says, someone's just threw something, someone's just been thrown at Chris, and my mum just goes, oh right. So what did that say then? And straight back to the table. I remember watching that.
Could have been a brick or a big beam or anything.
My son might know. Oh right, okay. What did that just say?
We've talked about this before, I think. It's where we've got so used to things happening. We just think, oh yeah, that's going off. Oh yeah. Now, and we're getting blasé about it.
Yeah.
Because we're so used to it, and we want more. It's greed thinking, we want more evidence. Now, any newbie coming in, or you know, coming into this sort of thing, fantastic. Did you see that going? And I think we're getting a bit blasé because we're not recognising it, and that's where we've got to start saying, oh yeah, this is going up, that's going up, because we've not done, have we?
Well, on the last one of these, he went, the cat ball's going off behind us, and I actually watched it and I went,
oh yeah.
So anyway, like that.
Yeah, and carry on.
I should be going, I'm going.
Well, that's the thing, but exactly that. And I mean, as Adam can attest to, when we do the events, you're introducing people to things happening like that, and you've got to remember this is their first time.
Of course,
Something big to them.
But sometimes it's good to be calm, because if you go oh like that, then the person who's sitting there goes oh like, and it's like a knock-on effect. Exactly. We've actually had that, haven't we? Where one person screams. Now, the funniest one as I ever done was in the what did they call it? The firing range at the very end there, and everyone was dead quiet and everything else, and we were going out and all this lot. And it was, I think it was John Daggett, it was his birthday, wasn't it, or something, and he'd been getting everybody else. And we had Jane with a popper, and he was just sitting there, and we were going, and I went, did anybody hear that? And he all went, no, that sounds like that. So bang, as you went, like that. And he jumped and everything else, but when we turned the lights on, he was sitting there and he was just looking at us all. He had all this all over like that. So I mean, things like that. I mean, but he'd been with us a while, so it was all right. But sometimes when you jump, it is a knock-on effect. You've done it before. We still do it.
Yeah.
We still do. We still, you know, if something happens, you go, oh, like the squirrel. Sorry, this is going off a little bit.
We were sitting in the wardroom last night. I know,
there was a group in.
There was a group in, so that they were off doing all the stuff. I think we went and done the last bit with them, but we just left them to it for a few hours. So we were sitting in the wardroom. We actually got a few noises, didn't we?
Yeah.
We got a few taps from above, from the classroom above, and they were down here. So that was a bit strange. And then we had some whispering.
Yeah, I was telling you about that before.
And then Jamie had his phone and we were watching some of these funny video things, and there was this, I don't know whether if it was a squirrel, it was a baby squirrel, like a little chipmunk thing. I got caught in this netting, and the fella's cutting this netting away, like being nice as he is.
I'm like this.
And netting away, and he's so engrossed in it. And
like,
then the little chipmunk moves like that, and he goes.
But it was just like a little blob of fur, and then it was just like, you know, have you ever seen it where they scatter dead quick like that? And I said, I can't believe we're sitting here in the pitch black with the ghost hunts around us and everything, and I get frightened by a squirrel moving. But it just shows you that you've got that fear factor in you all the time. It doesn't matter whether that squirrel or anything else. You've got
stuff going on, and we're still sitting there
watching the squirrel.
Watching the squirrel thing.
But doesn't that just come down to it? You get used to it.
Yeah.
It says, that's what it's saying.
I mean, the opposite of that though, it's doing this the more that you are. It's like you start chasing that fear and chasing that feeling. So whereas you're looking at sort of different locations, you think, right, what can I do here that will really you know, sort of get me going, and then it will obviously look good on the episode as well. But it's trying to push and challenge yourself to, you know, think, well, all right, I can, you know, probably come down here and have a little walk around for 5 or 10 minutes. Well, I don't, maybe you sit in a chair blindfolded for that, and then it's trying to make that even better. And I think it's getting it's getting a bit silly now, isn't it? Thinking, right, what can we do next to each other? You know, who's going down there? Who's doing that?
Well, when we were in Penryn Old Hall with yous, and you put me into that sensory deprivation. Yeah. I think because we all have a bit of laughing and joke and everything else, I thought yous are all going to sneak off. But the funny thing was, you know, Mike. Yeah. I'm thinking that's all right, because I'll hear Mike going out, and that was in my head. So sorry about that, Mike. I was using you as a like an scapegoat if I needed to. But he ended up grabbing all the knees coat like that.
I couldn't move.
I'm not moving because
he was tugging me down like that, so I couldn't move.
Well, funnily enough, we did the Grosvenor, and one of the guys from work, Jay, came along, and as soon as I knew Jay was coming, I thought straight away, he's doing the Estes method. So, you know, so what I'm going to do, Jay, put the blindfold on, headphones, so that's, as you know, that's all you've got. And even he said to everyone in work, he said, I was convinced I was going to take the blindfold off, and because we did it in the mirror room, he said I was convinced there was going to be nobody left in the room. He said, and I was just going to be there shouting out, Mary, paranormal. Go.
But it is funny though, because it's funny because you've got to trust the people around you.
Well, I was just going to use the same word. It goes back to the trust for the circle that you're in.
Definitely. I mean, you've just recently done it on the stage at the Epstein, haven't you? Blindfolded, sat in the middle of the theatre, and where I've been miles away asking the questions as well, and that's probably been one of our better ones, hasn't it?
Yeah, that was it.
Sort of the environment that we've done.
That's my first time I've done it. Hence the fact that we've got a blindfold in with the cat balls, but we brought a few bits of kit for this tonight, guys. It's because we used it there, because it's one of them, you put it down in a different box and you can't find it. But then that's my first time putting the blindfold on and the headphones, but then I'm sat on the stage in the world famous Epstein Theatre, used to be known as the Neptune Theatre, and before that the Crane Theatre, and Adam went off and sat in the seats. But again, that's where it comes in with our multiple cameras. So we had a lock-off camera looking right down on the stage. Adam's got his own camera. We've got another lock-off camera looking across that way. And then I had the camera like these closer, looking straight at me to capture just me and my audio clearly, doing the picture-in-picture with it. And it was that way of Adam's far enough away so that nobody can say what I'm speaking is anything that I've heard Adam say. But it was as you know, Jamie, your senses I just had this constant feeling there was just someone stood there, curiosity. But then it's like if you've seen that BBC programme Ghosts,
fantastic,
it's just the best thing ever. And it's like when you've seen that, and we say it's I've had many a conversation with Amy, who does shadow hunters, and she said the same thing. You go into places like this now, or you go into an old mansion house, and you have this idea in your head, now wouldn't it be nice if that's who's following you around, all these different generations of spirits,
go back to caveman.
Curiosity. And exactly.
Well, if you go onto the BBC iPlayer, and there's a series called Uncanny. I've got to recommend it because it's fantastic. I've listened to it from the beginning right to up now, and this episode, what's just recently come out, they're interviewing, the caveman in Ghosts. Yeah. They're interviewing him, and he's brilliant. It's about 40 minutes long, but if you get on there and go on Uncanny, and go from the very first episode, you end up hooked on it, because I'm now waiting for the next one to come along, because he's so good at what he does, and he talks about 30 East Drive, and there's a documentary. I think it's a 4 or 5 part documentary on certain things in a place up in Scotland. It's fantastic.
Funny enough, that's top of your bucket list, isn't it? 30 East Drive.
East Drive is. It's one of those things that it just needs to be ticked off. We've done the Ram and we've done Newsham Park this year, and I think that's sort of pushing on next year. I definitely want to tick that off. But the Ancient Ram, it's coincidentally our Halloween episode this year, isn't it?
So we did the Ancient Ram, didn't we? Was it 2 or 3 times I've done it now?
We've done it quite a few. But you've got your Halloween one you were
Yeah,
saying on that,
such
which is
a-
great.
I mean, you can watch all the videos and you can, do all the research, but until you walk through that door, you just don't understand how strange that place is. And you go up like 2 flights of stairs and you're on like the road level and you think, I'm at like the top of the house here.
You wonder how, don't you?
So backwards how it is, but the history to it, it's just an unbelievable place and a very, very active place.
Very
as well.
Well, does you've got the part where the crow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been there for years, and you were talking about like Kieran O'Keefe and that. Well, most haunted have been there. I think that's where Stuart got attacked.
It's one of the many places Stuart got attacked.
But that was the main one. And then there's one with I'm trying to think of the name of the person who's in it, and there's quite a few been down there. So, but it goes back years. There was one called the Scream Team. Have you ever seen the Scream Team? You can't go and watch it because it's very good. It's like they all go off in a Winnebago, and after the way they go, Phil Wyman. He's the what's his name, isn't he?
He was almost
Phil Wyman. I'm thinking the one out of the Rolling Stones here.
Showing his age again.
But Phil Wyman, they went there on the Scream Team, and you're talking. I'm not sure. It was before most haunts anyway, and that crow is still there.
Yeah.
They must get it out and throw it in the washing machine and put it back up.
It's just such an atmospheric place, and the brilliant thing is when you go in there, you get it for 13 hours.
Yeah.
And that's the brilliant thing. It's like we are looking to go back next year as soon as we can, and because there's so much that we didn't do. We've got the Halloween special. We're not shortchanging anyone again this year. It's 2.5 hours, but that's 2.5 hours from almost 50 hours of footage. Yeah. Because we used 5 cameras that night, so it was an edit of epic proportions. But I've gone all out to make this the best anyone is putting out this Halloween, and it's just 2 blokes rocking up and having a walk around. Where it's camera there, okay, let's have a little sit down here. Let's do a bit of research, and then in between Scotch eggs and sausage rolls and McCoy's and cups of tea, and chocolate hobnobs as well. We made the mistake. We went down. It was Easter Sunday, and we knew it was Easter weekend, but we didn't think we need to get something to eat. So as we're going past all these motorway service stations, then we come off the motorway and going past these co-ops, and kept saying, we'll stop at the next one, and the next one never arrived. Next thing we're in Watton under Edge with a couple of bottles of water and a packet of chewies, and 13 hours ahead of us.
It's a beautiful place.
So we parked up and we're driving around trying to find somewhere for something to eat, and we just perchance came down this street and there was a Tesco Express, and it was still open. So we went in there and literally no sandwiches left or anything. So we just grabbed, as you do. It was like coming home from the pub, just grabbing as much snacky stuff as we could. But even that, I think we sat down, we got acclimatised to it. We had a chat with, as we said, we openly, and we've left it in the episode because I think it's a nice touch to have a conversation with John. Yeah. And just John Humphreys, and just thank him for saving the ancient ram, paying the respect that he's due, and his daughter Caroline and Zana that run it, and keeping it going. Yeah, I think it was a nice touch to leave that in while we're having a cup. Come and have a seat. Thank you for letting us into your home. And then off camera, we're saying to each other, I can't believe this is surreal. And that's like, what? We're sitting in the ancient ram with a cup of Yorkshire tea and a plate full of hobnobs, and like just chilling out. What's on? Should we put the telly on? Do you put the match on? Should we watch a film? And it's kind of like, we shouldn't be like this, but that was our safe zone.
Was that where John slept?
So we kind of thought that was your safe zone. Once you cross that threshold,
was the warmest spot as well.
He was a great guy, wasn't he? He was a great guy.
We had the privilege of meeting him. Yeah. And I had the privilege of many times talking to him on the phone. And there was one time I rang him up, and he said to me, we're having a few issues here. And I said, you're okay? Like, people, he said, no, with the spirits. He said, this is happening, that's happening. And as he was talking to me on the phone, you know, like a weird voice, and then it went dead, the phone. So I rang him back up and said, John, are you okay in that? And he said, yeah, Jamie, I'm really sorry, that wasn't me. But it wasn't him, because he was
Lights
talking.
going off.
He was actually talking to me when this thing come through. And I thought, we're going down there this weekend. I don't know whether I want to go now, you know. But when we got there, I sat in the room with him, and he was showing me all the, like the newspapers and things like that. He was in, he had books on paranormal. But where he slept, you wouldn't think he'd sleep. Well, I think I'd sleep there, because there was nowhere I was sleeping in the bishop's room, or the witch's room, or any other room up there.
I did sleep in one of the rooms, didn't I?
But I mean, I mean, he did a lot for that place. I mean, he did fight, because he said he wanted to knock it down and widen the road and everything.
Exactly.
But he was a very interesting man.
You gained sounds.
I thought I had like a squeaky.
Right through the hallway.
Whether it was not vibrating, but it was just a really high pitched.
Well, we'll be going out there soon, Adam. Once we finish this little bit now,
I'll just point out, by the way, because the K2 keeps going right down almost to the red.
Yeah.
Because some people might say he's got something under his hat.
Oh, right, okay.
He's just jumped in my head.
Yeah.
We just want to be
the most
No, what Chris is saying is, it's not under his hat, but it's Haunted Scouse. That's what he's saying.
But
yeah, we couldn't see him with his hat on, could we?
When it was doing that, I just
that's
thought
a good
anybody
thought.
might just think, what's he got? What's the hat hiding there? Because it's the perfect
and at
angle. So yes, we're not.
And we can say we moved all the products, equipment to it, didn't we, beforehand? So we know about that.
It's not the Sooty show. There's no magic.
No, and there's nothing under the table. It's just.
But no, the ram is just the ancient ram's that ultimate place to walk into, and it's when, I mean, this time last year we were buzzing about Walton Hall as a Halloween special, and we were sitting in knowing what we'd got, testing ourselves going in, and you know how far can we push ourselves, and so it was brilliant that. On going back to the Unexplained Court on camera, it's on Discovery Plus at the moment, but it'll soon.
Can you tell us the times as well, Chris?
Well, we've been on now, so but no, it's no. Honestly, it was good that they left a bit in of Adam walking up, finding that door shut.
Yeah.
And explaining, the narrator explaining, we went back and decided to test ourselves by going in alone, so the viewer knows that at that point. When Adam's walking along and they've already seen that door shut again, and we've had to talk about the door, when Adam sees it, that they left a bit in of no. We said it's like the fella on the Vicar of Dibley. No.
Yes.
But
never seen
it's
it.
like
love it.
That's a genuine reaction to it, and that's it's in our new credits. Adam, he's straight on the walkie-talkie. Chris, please tell me that door was shut when you were up here. No, that door was open. And it's Adam keeps the camera on himself beautifully for his reaction of it's fear, and then he's like it's disbelief, and it's just a brilliant bit of footage. And the ram had the same effect to the extent that we need to go back because to a certain point we bottled it.
It's unfinished.
We let it get to us, and you know yourselves as investigators, you've only got to go into a place and go. You let one thing spook you. I'm not going in that corner. What? No, I'm just
the room behind us.
Exactly. You've had your experience there.
Yeah.
You have to get past that, and that's why we are going to go back, and we can relax this time. The epic is done. The 5 cameras, 50 hours of footage for the Halloween special that will blow you all out the water this year. I guarantee. You know, it's done. Now
caught on camera again.
Now but we can go back to the ram this time and enjoy it.
Yeah,
of course.
We know there's a microwave and an oven now as well, so we can go back with some food.
And the shops will be open.
So ready meals galore.
Before we finish this, Chris and Adam, how's it been for you in the last? Is it 2 years now, isn't it? You've only known each other for 2 years as well. And you had long hair when he met you.
Well, I liked it the other night, to be fair. No, me for 2 years, like dog years.
yeah, you did, because we did listen to the thing. Yeah, we have to, because you insult us a lot, so we have to retaliate. It's like a battle, isn't it? How do you feel now you've been from, in the past 2 years, you've gone from just Haunted Scouse on video to Haunted Scouse now on caught on camera and us. More importantly, us.
Like we said, it's one of those things. It's just having that validation, isn't it, from us that you think that actually sort of what we're doing could actually add something to the paranormal community, that we're not just two fellas, faking things. Well, yeah, exactly that. Yeah. I mean, I think we're always going to get that out, we mate. But yeah, it's nice that we're trying our bit to prove or disprove that maybe there is something else out there, or something maybe that wants to make itself known in this world, or there is another world out there. Or...
Exactly, and to add to the fact that the channel's gone from strength to strength, the social media pages have, you know, to see people turning up to our events, to be managers of events now, and we only do 5 or 6 a year, but there's a certain sense of pride that we've made events accessible as well. You mentioned Mike earlier on, and people watching might not know, sorry, that was my ankle clicking. People might not know that Mike is a wheelchair user like my sister. And we've made places accessible for people with disabilities to join in a paranormal investigation.
Which is brilliant.
And that's a great sense of pride for us. We gain nothing from that. We haven't done it for any points, because obviously I've grown up around disabilities, but that's a great source of pride that people have watched the episodes of the fan events and they see people in a wheelchair, and people have commented saying, not seen that before. It's like, well, do you know what? Go out and that's your
go and enjoy it.
Our first ever episode, Calderstones Park, featured my sister.
Yeah, at the tree.
Yeah, exactly. And she did brilliantly. And again, she ended up in it's called All Together now, a disability newspaper. She was featured in that. And it was to say, paranormal's for everyone.
Yeah,
it is. Obviously, not every location is accessible, but come and join in.
Yeah.
Well, we've said it before. When we do the radio show, and somebody says, like, you know, how come you're doing a lot of paranormal investigations? I said, because there's people out there who can't get out the house and everything else, should be able to tap into it. I know it's on the TV and that, but it's nice sometimes not to have the TV and put your headphones on, relax, listen to it, and be part of it. And that's why you know yourselves, we don't, usually the first ones with us, to do a 3D audio. And when you put that 3D audio on, you feel as if you're in the room with them, and that's what we wanted. We want to give that interaction, like yous. We want that connection with not just able-bodied people and get out there and do it all, because that's nothing. It's getting those who are a little bit more, I don't know how to say it, a little bit more difficult for them to do that.
There's challenging circumstances.
COVID was a big one, wasn't it, where people couldn't get out,
and that's where it was nice to do both the video and the radio show as well, because it's bringing everybody into it.
Well, that's it. We've now created, as they've labelled it themselves, we've gone from being Haunted Scouse community hashtag, they now class themselves as the Haunted Scouse family. And that's it. You know, we've got these brilliant situations where, you know, we've announced 2 new events for next year in Antwerp Mansion in Manchester and Lowlands Mansion in West Derby in Liverpool. There's only 4 places left on each. We only announced them on Thursday. But Mike's wife Kaz is coming to Antwerp, even though it's not accessible for Mike. But 2 of our other guys, Chrissy and Amy, are picking Kaz up on the way. And 12 months ago, they didn't know each other. They met at Accrington Police Station and Courts, and that's the beauty of it. We can step back, and we've helped people create friendships, and as well as being proud of what we've done as a paranormal channel, and sitting back and watching ourselves on the telly, brilliant.
And the support.
It is. I mean, it's nice. Obviously, you know yourself how long you've probably took to set everything up, and usually when we get to a location, that's the first thing with cameras, equipment, and that. And then you're worrying that we've got the guests there who are kind of thinking what time we starting, but literally we kind of go, all right, acknowledge us, and then they go off and have a nap. So we're secondary now to it. So,
that's the good thing. But we're going to be going off in a little bit, aren't we? We're doing a bit of an investigation. So we've kept you long enough here, haven't we? Which is good anyway, because you keep us long enough.
No, it's been great having you on.
It's been fantastic having, and that's just Chris and Adam, Haunted Scouse, movie's title, that's it.
We're grey now, you might not recognise last time we came in black, but now we've gone up market, haven't we?
A quick off the cuff though, why have we changed to grey? I know it's not to match your hair, Chris.
It's just something a little bit different, isn't it? It's to say the channel's growing and we're evolving, and we thought, well, you know, we're not sort of a team that throws out merchandise and things, but I know a lot of the others who come regularly have bought some of the black ones that we had, and we thought when we're on events, we just wanted to kind of differentiate ourselves a little bit but it's just come to, it's grown on me a little bit this
we
one.
got, we got shell jackets first, grey shell jackets, and as Adam said, it was so that when we hosted events, 5 or 6 people rock up with the black and red on, and then if anyone's new, they're like, hang on, is it a day party? And it's not to kind of diminish the black and the red, because that forever will be the symbolic thing of Haunted Scouse, but we wanted to be able to host an event and don't be laughing, look professional.
And
I was biting your lip there.
You do come across like that, so you're doing well.
So the thing is, you can look professional and really have a good time as well.
You can,
that's the important part.
We're accessible to everybody.
Yeah.
That's
accessible, access paranormal.
Yeah, exactly.
Great lead on that one,
Seamless.
But I've got to say, Chris and Adam, thank you so much for coming on to this. You're the first paranormal team to come on here.
It's great being back in Mill Street, honestly. It's just like we never left, really, isn't it? It's great catching up with you.
Good job you said that at the end there. It's great having you back here again, because it's been a while. So again, Chris, Adam, Haunted Scouse, follow them on their channel as well. Subscribe, share. Don't forget us though. Okay? And we'll see them again soon. So thanks, Chris and Adam, for coming.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys.